Certainly very, 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 very unnecessary for me to record another episode, but since I've seen today that my speaking game is, pretty much on point because of whatever reason, I honestly don't know why. I'm willing to record another episode around The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida or Deida, whatever. But as I'm thinking about it, might actually be the case that I already went through this. So let me just quickly have a look at another book that I could possibly go through. Well, Modern Romance by Aziz Ansari could also be one that we could be talking about. Well, I would actually like to go through The Superior Man. I actually wanted to read the book, to be honest, since I've seen it. But yeah. Anyway, the high-level thoughts, and this is an article or summary by the netaliason.com site. So if you want to check it out, please check it out. If you don't want to do so, then don't. Anyway, The Way of the Superior Man, better than any other book I've found, made me more comfortable with the important distinctions between masculine and feminine behaviors and recognizing and working with those differences instead of pretending that men and women are perfect equals. Also, the distinction between rape and ravishment is helpful in helping men get over their cognitive dissonance with rough, aggressive, dominant sex, which definitely something that I have to cope with. I mean, look at me. The summary notes. Stop waiting, feel everything, love achingly, give impeccably, let go. So it's basically going to be a lot of quotes, I guess, as far as I can tell at least. And I think and know and assume that there's going to be some pretty amazing quotes. But we're going to see. If you want real passion, you need a ravisher and a ravishee, Otherwise, you just have two buddies who decide to rub genitals in bed. Well, what is actually the definition of ravisher or ravisher? Whatever it is, I don't know. Size and carry off someone by force. There is no assurance that her infant child will not be ravished from her breast. Dated of a man, rape a woman and angry father who suspects that his daughter has been ravished. Well, apparently it's not the same as raping, because they would not have pointed it out then, if it wasn't, but, Ongoing sexual passion requires polarity, a masculine pole and a feminine pole. It doesn't matter who takes on those roles, but the dynamic and the exchange of energy is necessary for true. You must recognize and accept which pole you gravitate towards. Yeah, which I think is very important to point out and also very interesting and necessary to say, because even though you're the man or even though you're the woman, doesn't quite necessarily have to mean that you also should be this pole, At least maybe not always. Let's think about that. These concepts are for people who recognize man and women's equality, while also recognizing their varying masculine and feminine energies and how those energies play out in relationships and sex. Most men make the error of thinking that one day it will be done. They think, if I can work enough, then one day I could rest. Or one day my woman will understand something and then she will stop complaining. Or I'm only doing this now so that I one day can do what I really want with my life, which, just in general doesn't make too much sense. Anyway, the masculine error is to think that eventually things will be different in some fundamental way. They won't. Guess what? It never ends. As long as life continues, the creative challenge is to tussle. The challenge is to tussle, play, and make love with the present moment while giving your unique gift. Think about that. It's never going to be over, so stop waiting for the good stuff. As of now, spend a minimum of 1 hour a day doing whatever you're waiting to do until your finances are more secure, or until children have grown and left home, or until you have finished your obligations and you feel free to do what you really want to do. Don't wait any longer. Don't believe in the myth of one day when everything will be different. Do what you love to do, what you're waiting to do, what you've been born to do now. And I would especially underline what you've been born to do. I would say, and it's certainly kind of the truth for me as well, people are not necessarily doing what they are meant to do. I certainly are meant to, or so certainly am meant to, well, I would say, do something athletic, do something sporty, since it's always something that I've quite enjoyed, and it's also been something that I've quite always been, relatively good at. But yeah, we all have to kind of maybe also admit and think about different aspects of oneself as well. The feminine always seems chaotic and complicated from the perspective of the masculine. Well, apparently this is the case. You can't escape the tussle with the feminine. Learn to find humor in the unending emotional drama the feminine seems to enjoy so much. The love that you magnify may realign her behavior, but your efforts to fix her and your frustration never will. Kind of sounds so sad and so negative, but I don't know if this is really the case or not. But anyway, men who have lived significant lives are men who never waited, not for money, security, ease, or women. Feel what you want to give most as a gift to your woman and to the world, and do what you can to give it today. Every moment waited is a moment wasted, and each wasted moment degrades your clarity of purpose. If necessary, man should live with a hurting heart rather than a closed one. You should learn to stay in the wound of pain and act with spontaneous skill and love even from that place. Admit to yourself that if you had to choose one or the other, the perfect intimate relationship or achieving your highest purpose in life, you would choose to succeed at your purpose. Just this self-knowledge often relieves much pressure. A man feels to prioritize his relationship when in fact it is not his highest priority. Which, well, honestly, I've also seen in myself. Seeing that, well, I actually want to do this, which, back then was primarily about the podcast. Nowadays it might differ a little tiny bit at least. But it's difficult, man. It really is. I mean, if you really love a person, then, then, well, you basically have to work even harder. You have to work even harder, and you have to make sure that you're creating enough time and that you're creating enough space for the relationship. Of course, it is a two-sided thing. It's not possible that only one person is working on the relationship. It needs to be done by both people. And so yeah, this is always something quite difficult, always something to keep in mind. Anyway, tell your woman that you love her, but you cannot deny your heart's purpose. Tell her that you will spend 30 minutes or some specific time with her in the absolute attention and total presence, but then you must return to carry on your mission. Which I don't know. Like, I on one hand feel that this is the right thing to do, but on the other hand, I feel like, well, this is a person that you really like, and if this person wasn't there, then maybe you'll probably feel differently about things, about life. Have different amounts of energy. You're gonna be, maybe a different person as well. But on the other hand, or the third hand, or the fourth, or whatever it might be, I also feel that, well, being so dependent on a person might just in general not be a smart idea. Because if they are gone because of whatever reason, they are gone. And yeah, doesn't feel too good then. Anyway, your fear is the sharpest definition of yourself. You should know it. You should feel it virtually constantly. Fear needs to become your friend so that you're no longer uncomfortable with it. Which makes sense, by the way. Few men are willing to give their deepest genius, their true endowments, the poetry of their very being, with every thrust of sex and life. Most men, are limbed with doubts and uncertainties, or they hold back their true drive because of fear. So they diddle their woman and the world just enough to extract the pleasure and comfort they need to assuage their nagging sense of falsity and incompleteness. Well, there's actually quite some, there's quite something left. Gonna highlight that. I hope that I'm gonna remember. Well, let's actually do it like this. And I'm gonna see you the next time. A very short recording, but now I'm gonna actually relax a bit. And I don't know, today's been, quite productive and quite long. And I'm tired right now. I really am. But I wanted to put something out now, even though, I don't know if it's been the smartest idea. Anyway, I've done something. Now I'm fine. Gonna see you the next time. Bye bye.